The massive alien ships appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning. They came without warning, their dark hulls blocking out the stars as they moved past Mars. Earth's deep space monitoring stations picked them up first, their sensors lighting up like Christmas trees as over 300 vessels entered the solar system. Inside the United Earth Defense Council's underground command center, Admiral James Thompson stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the main display screen. His gray hair and weathered face reflected decades of military service, but his eyes held a calm that seemed out of place given the situation. "They're broadcasting, sir," reported Tom Webb, the chief communications officer. His fingers moved quickly across the holographic controls. "It's being transmitted on all frequencies." The alien message boomed through the command center speakers, translated in real time by Earth's AI systems. "People of Earth, we are the Dominion. Your planet now belongs to us. Surrender immediately and accept your place as our subjects, or face destruction. You have one Earth day to respond." Admiral Thompson's expression didn't change. He simply nodded and looked at the room full of military and civilian leaders. "Well, it seems our guests have arrived right on schedule. Should we activate the defense grid?" asked General Roberts, his fingers hovering over his command tablet. "Not yet," Thompson replied, a slight smile crossing his face. "Let's follow the protocol we established. Send them our standard response." Webb typed in the command, and Earth's message was simple. "Leave now. This is your only warning." The alien response came quickly. Laughter. Actual laughter, transmitted across all frequencies. The Dominion commander's voice was filled with amusement as he responded. "You dare to threaten us? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your primitive technology cannot hope to match our power. Perhaps a demonstration is in order." One of the smaller alien ships moved forward, positioning itself above the Atlantic Ocean. It fired a single energy blast that created a massive wave, but notably aimed away from any populated areas. In the command center, no one panicked. Instead, Thompson walked over to the coffee machine in the corner, poured himself a cup, and took a slow sip, right on time with the demonstration too. "They're following the same pattern as all the others." "Sir," Webb called out, "they're demanding to speak with Earth's leaders. They want a video conference." Thompson straightened his uniform. "Well, let's not keep them waiting. Put them through on the main screen." The alien commander appeared before them. Lord Vex, as he called himself, looked almost human-like, except for his blue-tinted skin and completely black eyes. His uniform was covered in medals and insignia of conquest. "I am Lord Vex of the Dominion Fleet. Who dares to speak for Earth?" Thompson stepped forward. "Admiral James Thompson, Earth Defense Force. I'll keep this brief. Leave our solar system now, or be destroyed. This is your only warning." Lord Vex's laughter echoed through the command center again. "You're either very brave or very foolish. Admiral, our scans show your primitive defenses. You have barely reached your moon. Your weapons are chemical-based projectiles. Your ships run on fossil fuels. How exactly do you plan to stop us?" Thompson took another sip of his coffee. "That's not your concern. You have 24 hours to leave. After that, we will not accept surrender. You won't accept surrender." Lord Vex leaned forward, his black eyes gleaming. "Perhaps you misunderstand the situation. We are offering you the chance to survive as our subjects. The alternative is extinction." 24 hours, Thompson repeated, then signaled Webb to cut the transmission. The room fell silent for a moment before General Roberts spoke up. "They really have no idea, do they?" Thompson walked back to the main display, watching the alien fleet's formation. "They never do, Marcus. They never do." He touched a control panel, bringing up a hidden display, showing Earth's true defensive capabilities. Numbers, statistics, and weapon systems scrolled past. Technology centuries beyond what the Dominion thought Earth possessed. "Send the evacuation signal," Thompson ordered. Let's get our people to safety before we show our visitors why they should have taken our warning seriously. As the command went out, millions of humans calmly began moving to underground shelters, following plans they had practiced for years. On the surface, Earth appeared defenseless, primitive, and scared. But appearances can be deceiving. Lord Vex stood on the bridge of his command ship, watching Earth through the massive viewing screen. Something wasn't right. After 12 hours, the humans had shown no signs of panic. No military movements. No desperate launches of their primitive weapons. Just calm, organized movement of people underground. My lord, his second-in-command, Officer Drake, approached with a datapad. Our scouts report strange readings from Earth's polar regions. Vex frowned, his blue skin wrinkling around his black eyes. Explain. We can't, sir. The energy signatures don't match anything in our database. And there's more. Drake swiped through several screens. Our deep scans show massive underground structures on every continent. The humans are using them as shelters. But what? They're too well organized, my lord. These aren't panic rooms or hastily built bunkers. These are long-term survival structures, built years ago, maybe decades, and they're still picking up more strange energy readings from them. In the Earth Defense Command Center, Admiral Thompson watched the alien ships through multiple hidden sensor arrays. Their scanning beams swept the planet's surface constantly, searching for any sign of military response. They're getting nervous, Tom Webb reported from his station. Their communication chatter has increased by 300% in the last hour. Thompson nodded, checking his watch. 15 hours since first contact. Right on schedule. He turned to General Roberts. How's the evacuation proceeding? Roberts brought up a holographic globe showing population movements in real time. 95% of surface civilians are now in the shelters. The rest will be secure within 2 hours. No panic, no rush, just like we practiced. Sir, Webb called out suddenly. The Dominion is making another broadcast. Lord Vex's image appeared on their screens again. His confident smile from earlier had been replaced by a suspicious frown. Admiral Thompson, your people's behavior is unusual. Most species we encounter respond with either immediate surrender or futile resistance. Thompson smiled. We're not most species, Lord Vex. What are you planning? Vex demanded. Our scans show no significant military installations, no orbital defenses, no advanced weapon systems. Yet your people move with purpose, without fear. Tell me why. We told you to leave, Thompson replied calmly. That was your warning. You still have 9 hours. Vex slammed his fist down. Warning? You have nothing. We've conquered worlds far more advanced than yours. Your most powerful weapons couldn't scratch our shields. Your primitive rockets would be shot down before reaching orbit. What possible threat could you pose? Thompson took a moment to pour another cup of coffee. The action seemed to infuriate Vex even more. That's the interesting thing about humans, Lord Vex. We're very good at learning from history. Do you know what happened to the last 3 alien species that tried to invade Earth? Vex's expression flickered. What are you talking about? We're the first advanced civilization to contact Earth. Are you sure about that? Thompson asked, taking a sip from his cup. Have you ever wondered why, despite the galaxy being full of life, Earth seems so isolated? Why no other species trades with us? Why we're left alone in this section of space? For the first time, uncertainty crept into Vex's voice. You're trying to trick me. Our intelligence is perfect. Your species has barely mastered basic spaceflight. Thompson's smile widened slightly. Then you have nothing to worry about. 8 hours and 45 minutes remaining, Lord Vex. After cutting the transmission, Vex ordered increased scanning of the planet. His ships detected more unusual energy signatures, now appearing at regular intervals around the globe. Deep underground, something was powering up. The Dominion's most sophisticated analysis computers couldn't identify the technology. It was as if the humans were using scientific principles that didn't exist in their database. "My lord," Drake reported, his voice shaking slightly, "we're detecting quantum fluctuations from Earth's moon. But that's impossible. They don't have that technology. They can't have that technology." Vex watched as more of his sensor readings showed impossible results. The humans weren't running. They weren't fighting. They were simply waiting, like a trap ready to spring. For the first time in his long career of conquest, Lord Vex felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: fear. And deep beneath Earth's surface, humanity's real weapons began to wake up. The 24 hours had passed. Lord Vex stood on his command bridge, pushing aside his doubts. He had conquered worlds far more advanced than Earth. These primitives were just plain mind games. It was time to show them the true power of the Dominion. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Target their largest cities first." The Dominion fleet moved into position. 300 warships, each capable of destroying entire continents, spread out across Earth's atmosphere. Their weapons charge, creating an eerie purple glow in the sky visible from the planet's surface. Still no defensive response. Officer Drake reported, his voice uncertain. "Their military bases are empty. Cities abandoned. Should we proceed?" "Of course we should proceed." Vex snapped. "Fire." The first wave of energy beams struck Earth's surface. Massive explosions lit up the sky over New York, Tokyo, London, and other major cities. But when the smoke cleared, the aliens saw something impossible. The cities were gone. Not destroyed, just gone. As if they had never been there. "My lord," Drake's voice cracked with panic. "The cities, they're holograms. Everything we've been scanning for the past day. They're all advanced projections." Before Vex could respond, the real Earth began to reveal itself. In the underground command center, Admiral Thompson finished his last cup of coffee and set the mug down carefully. "They've taken the bait. All units, execute Operation Thunderbolt." The ground beneath the holographic cities split open. Massive structures rose from the depths. But these weren't buildings. They were weapon platforms, each larger than the Dominion's biggest ships. They had been there all along, hidden by technology far beyond the aliens' understanding. Impossible. Vex watched as his sensors finally showed Earth's true face. "Their technology. This can't be real." Thompson's voice came through every Dominion ship's communication system. "We warned you. Now let us show you why Earth is left alone." The weapon platforms activated, but they didn't fire energy beams or missiles. Instead, they released clouds of what looked like silver dust into the air. "What is this?" Vex demanded. "Some kind of pathetic final defense." The answer came quickly. The silver dust, actually billions of advanced nanites, swarmed toward the Dominion ships. Where they touched the alien vessels' shields, they simply passed through as if the defensive barriers didn't exist. "Shields failing," Drake screamed. But they're not failing. The sensors say they're still at full power. These weapons, they're ignoring our defensive technology completely." Thompson watched from below as the nanite swarms covered ship after ship. The microscopic machines weren't attacking the shields or weapons. They were taking apart the ships themselves, breaking them down molecule by molecule. "How?" Vex watched in horror as nearby ships began dissolving into their component atoms. "How can you have this technology?" "Our scans showed." "They showed what we wanted them to show," Thompson replied calmly. "Just like the last 3 invasion fleets that tried to attack Earth. We learned long ago that looking weak is the best way to identify our enemies." On Earth's moon, hidden bases activated. Massive cannons emerged from the crater shadows, but these weapons didn't fire traditional ammunition. They fired beams that bent space itself, creating localized time distortions around the Dominion ships. "What's happening?" Vex watched as parts of his fleet began aging hundreds of years in seconds, while others were caught in time loops, repeating the same moment over and over. The nanite swarms continued their work, methodically dismantling ship after ship. There was no escape. The Dominion's fastest ships tried to flee, only to find themselves trapped in quantum fields that denied the very possibility of movement. "Please," Vex finally broke, his voice trembling. "We surrender. We'll leave. Just stop this." Thompson's voice was cold when he replied, "We told you at the start. We would not accept surrender. This isn't a war, Lord Vex. This is pest control." As his ship began to dissolve around him, as time itself twisted and bent at the hands of humanity's weapons, Lord Vex finally understood. They hadn't been warning him about their defenses. They had been warning him about their mercy. And now, it was far too late. As Lord Vex's fleet crumbled under humanity's first wave of attacks, Earth was just warming up. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, the largest of humanity's hidden bases activated. The ice sheet itself split open, revealing a massive structure that had been hidden there for over a century. "Begin Phase 2, Admiral Thompson ordered, watching the holographic display showing the battle above. "Show them everything." In the remains of his command ship, Lord Vex watched in horror as the Antarctic facility released something new into the sky. It looked like the northern lights at first, beautiful streams of colored energy dancing through the air. But these lights were weapons beyond his comprehension. "My lord," Officer Drake's voice shook as he read the sensor data. "These energy patterns, they're rewriting the laws of physics in localized areas." Thompson's voice came through their failing systems again. "You see, Lord Vex, humanity learned something important centuries ago. We discovered we weren't alone in the universe. But instead of announcing ourselves, we watched. We learned. We prepared." The colored lights reached the first group of Dominion ships. Where they touched, reality itself changed. Metal became liquid. Energy weapons fired backwards. Shield generators protected the space around the ships, while leaving the vessels themselves exposed. "How long?" Vex demanded, his pride finally broken. "How long have you had these weapons?" "The nanites." "About 300 years. The quantum fields." 500. "The reality warpers you're seeing now. Those are actually quite new, only about 50 years old. We like to test our newest toys on invaders." From bases hidden in the Mariana Trench, huge structures rose from the ocean depths. They weren't weapons. They were factories. Within minutes, they began producing new ships, vessels that seemed to ignore the basic rules of engineering and physics. "Impossible," Drake shouted. "Those ships, they're bigger on the inside than the outside. Their power readings make no sense." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. "Did you really think those primitive rockets we sent to space were our real ships? Everything you've seen of Earth until now was a carefully crafted illusion, a trap for arrogant species like yours." The defense grid around Earth fully activated. Satellites that had appeared to be simple communication devices transformed, revealing quantum-linked weapon systems that could target ships across dimensions. The moon's surface rippled as hidden bases exposed themselves, launching swarms of automated fighters that could predict enemy movements before they happened. "Sir," Tom Webb reported from his station, "the Dominion's backup fleet has just jumped into the system." Thompson nodded. "Right on schedule. Active the Sol Gate." The space between Mars and Jupiter twisted, folded, and opened. A massive structure, hidden in a pocket dimension, emerged. The Sol Gate, humanity's greatest achievement, a weapon that could redirect the power of the sun itself. The Sol Gate, Vex whispered, recognizing the name from ancient alien legends. "But that's just a myth. A story told to scare children." "Oh, it's very real," Thompson replied. "We built it after the second invasion attempt. Hasn't had a proper test yet. Thank you for volunteering." The gate activated. A stream of solar plasma, perfectly controlled and directed, lanced out at the approaching Dominion reinforcements. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds vanished in microseconds, their advanced shields useless against the fundamental power of a star. In the command center, General Roberts approached Thompson. "Sir, planetary defense reports all surface evacuation shelters are functioning perfectly. 0 casualties." "Excellent." Thompson turned to Webb. "Send the signal to the other observation posts. Let them see what happens to those who ignore our warnings." Throughout the galaxy, hidden human stations broadcast the battle. Every spacefaring race watched as Earth, the supposedly primitive planet, systematically destroyed one of the most powerful fleets in known space. On his disintegrating ship, Lord Vex finally understood the truth. Earth hadn't been isolated by chance. It hadn't been left alone because it was primitive. It had been quarantined by the rest of the galaxy, marked with the oldest warning in the universe: "Here there be monsters." And his fleet had just woken them up. With the Dominion fleet in chaos, Admiral Thompson prepared Earth's next move. He stood in the command center, watching the tactical display as hundreds of red dots representing alien ships winked out one by one. "Begin Phase 3, he ordered. "Launch the Hunter fleet." Around the solar system, artificial asteroids cracked open like eggs. Hidden inside each one was a sleek Earth warship, powered by technology that made the Dominion's best vessels look like children's toys. Lord Vex, trapped on his failing command ship, watched in disbelief as human vessels emerged from hiding spots throughout the solar system. They had been there all along, waiting patiently like spiders in a web. "My lord," Officer Drake's voice was barely a whisper, "these ships, their smallest vessel could destroy our entire fleet. We never stood a chance, did we?" "No," Thompson's voice came through their systems again. "You didn't. Now, let us show you how Earth really fights." The Hunter fleet moved with impossible speed. Their engines didn't just push through space. They bent it. Where Dominion ships needed minutes to cross between planets, Earth's vessels simply stepped through the fabric of reality itself. "Impossible," Vex shouted as a human ship appeared inside his fleet formation. "Nothing can move that fast." "Fast," Thompson chuckled. "That's not speed you're seeing. That's dimensional shifting. Why travel through space when you can simply choose to be somewhere else?" The Earth ships began their attack. But they didn't use normal weapons. Each vessel created bubbles of altered time around enemy ships. Inside these bubbles, seconds stretched into years. Dominion crews watched in horror as their ships aged centuries in moments, metal turning to rust before their eyes. "Sir," Webb reported from his station, "the Dominion is trying to call for help through their quantum communication network." Thompson nodded. "Let them. Time for the Damascus Protocol." Across the galaxy, every Dominion communication device suddenly displayed the same message. A simple image of Earth, surrounded by the words, "We warned you," in every known language. "How?" Vex demanded. "How did you hack our entire network?" "Hack it," Thompson replied. "We built it. Those communication crystals your ships use. Reverse engineered from technology we let your spies steal a century ago. We've been listening to every message, watching every move." The Hunter fleet continued its work. Earth ships phased through enemy shields as if they weren't there. Some vessels split into multiple copies, attacking from different dimensions simultaneously. Others created weapons from the fabric of space-time itself. "Admiral," General Roberts reported, "the enemy fleet is completely surrounded. No escape routes remain." In desperation, Vex ordered his remaining ships to make random jumps through space. Anything to escape the nightmare Earth had become. But as their engines powered up, they made a terrifying discovery. "The laws of physics," Drake said, his voice breaking. They're different. Our jump drives aren't working because space itself has changed." Thompson's voice was calm as ever. "Did you think we would let you escape? The entire solar system is inside a bubble of altered reality. Your technology doesn't work here because we decided it shouldn't." The Hunter fleet moved in for the kill. Their weapons didn't destroy the Dominion ships. They erased them. Vessels that had terrorized countless worlds simply ceased to exist, removed from reality itself. "Please," Vex begged, watching his mighty fleet vanish ship by ship. "What do you want from us?" "Want?" Thompson's voice carried a hint of amusement. "We don't want anything from you, Lord Vex. This isn't a negotiation or a war. This is a lesson. The same lesson we've taught to every species that ignored our warnings." As the last Dominion ships were systematically erased from existence, humanity's message spread across the galaxy. Every advanced race watched in silence as Earth revealed its true power. And in the darkness between stars, other alien fleets quietly changed course, marking Earth's solar system with a simple warning: do not approach. Here dwells death itself. Lord Vex stood on the bridge of his dying flagship, watching Earth's hunter fleet methodically destroy everything he had commanded. But Earth wasn't finished. Not even close. "Launch the time spheres," Admiral Thompson ordered from the command center. "Show them what humanity does to those who threaten our world." Massive black spheres emerged from Earth's oceans, each one larger than a city. They rose into orbit, their surfaces rippling like dark water. The remaining Dominion ships tried to scan them, but their sensors couldn't make sense of what they were seeing. "Those spheres," Officer Drake reported, his voice trembling, "they exist in multiple timelines at once. They're everywhere and nowhere." Thompson's voice echoed through the Dominion's failing systems. "You see, Lord Vex, humanity learned something important after the first invasion attempts. We learned that fighting in just one timeline, one dimension, was limiting. So we learned to fight across all of them." The time spheres activated. Reality itself cracked around the Dominion fleet. Vex watched in horror as multiple versions of Earth's ships appeared, each from a different timeline. His fleet wasn't just fighting one Earth military, it was fighting thousands of them, all at once. "This is what total war looks like," Thompson explained calmly. "Every possible version of Earth, united against you. Every timeline where humanity exists, joining forces to eliminate a common threat." Human ships from countless alternate realities converged on the Dominion fleet. Some were massive planet-sized vessels that could swallow entire squadrons. Others were tiny but could rewrite the laws of physics around them. Each one represented a different path humanity had taken in technological development. "Admiral," Tom Webb called out, "the Dominion's flagship is attempting to self-destruct." Thompson nodded. "Disable their time flow. Let them watch." Time stopped aboard Vex's ship. He and his crew could only watch, frozen in place, as Earth's forces demonstrated what true power looked like. The time spheres created windows to other dimensions, showing the Dominion fleet what was happening across all timelines simultaneously. In one reality, Earth ships turned the vacuum of space itself into a weapon. In another, they transformed enemy vessels into clouds of harmless light. Each timeline showed a different way humanity had prepared to defend itself. "You still don't understand, do you?" Thompson's voice was almost gentle now. "We didn't just prepare for invasion. We prepared for every possible type of invasion, in every possible timeline. What you're seeing is just a fraction of our capabilities." The Hunter fleet began its final attack. Ships from multiple timelines coordinated perfectly, their weapons synchronized across dimensions. Where 3 or 4 timeline versions of a human ship attacked together, Dominion vessels simply ceased to exist, not just destroyed, but erased from every possible reality. "My lord," Drake whispered, still frozen in time, "the humans, they're not just defeating us. They're making it so we never existed at all." Vex watched helplessly as his mighty fleet vanished piece by piece. The time spheres ensured that each destruction was visible across all timelines, a lesson being taught to every version of the Dominion that might have ever existed. In the command center, General Roberts approached Thompson. "Sir, temporal sensors indicate total elimination in 87% of known timelines. The remaining 13% are processing now." "Good." Thompson took a final sip of his coffee. "Prepare the reality anchors. Make sure this lesson sticks across all possible futures." Great pillars of light appeared around Earth, reaching into the depths of space itself. These were the reality anchors, devices that could make certain events absolutely fixed across all timelines. What was happening to the Dominion fleet would become an unchangeable fact in every possible version of history. Remember this moment. Thompson transmitted to Vex's time-frozen ship. In every timeline, in every possible future, this is what happens to those who threaten Earth. We are humanity. We do not warn twice. The time spheres pulsed one final time, and the last fragments of the Dominion fleet vanished from existence, not just in this reality, but in all of them. Earth had won across all possible universes simultaneously, and the galaxy would never forget why. 1 week after the battle, Admiral Thompson stood at Earth's new Galactic Communication Center, preparing to address the watching universe. The massive room was filled with screens showing representatives from thousands of alien civilizations, all waiting nervously for Earth's message. In the ruins of what had been the Dominion's home system, a single human probe appeared. It carried only a simple message. They were warned. The once mighty empire now served as a quiet reminder of humanity's power. "Sir," Tom Webb reported from his station, "we're receiving messages from over 3,000 alien governments. They're all requesting diplomatic relations." Thompson smiled slightly. Funny how a little demonstration changes attitudes, isn't it? He straightened his uniform and nodded. "Begin transmission." His image appeared on every advanced communication device across the galaxy. The message was simple, clear, and terrifying in its calmness. "Greetings to all watching civilizations. I am Admiral James Thompson of Earth. You have all witnessed what happened to the Dominion fleet. Now, let me tell you a story." The screen showed images of Earth's history, not the fake version they had shown the galaxy, but the true one. 500 years ago, humanity detected our first alien signals. We learned we weren't alone. But instead of announcing ourselves, we listened. We watched. We learned about the Dominion and others like them. And we prepared. The images showed massive underground cities, hidden fleets, and technology that most civilizations had thought impossible. Every primitive rocket we launched was a deception. Every weak transmission was carefully planned. We created an image of Earth as a backward, primitive world, and we waited to see who would take the bait. In various alien command centers, leaders watched with growing understanding and fear. The Dominion was not the first to ignore our warnings. They were simply the last. Their fate is now a message to all watching races. Thompson's eyes hardened. Earth does not want war. We do not seek conquest. We simply wish to be left alone. The screens showed the time spheres and reality anchors, technology that could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. To those who wonder why we reveal this now, the answer is simple. The game of pretending to be weak no longer serves us. So here is Earth's new warning to the galaxy. Leave us in peace, and we will do the same. Threaten us. Images of the Dominion fleet's destruction played across every screen. Well, you've seen what happens to those who threaten Earth. In the following days, Earth received formal recognition from every known spacefaring race. Trade offers poured in, along with technology exchanges and diplomatic missions. But each message came with the same careful respect one might show to a sleeping giant. Back in the command center, General Roberts reviewed the latest reports. All alien military forces have withdrawn to at least 10 light years from our solar system, sir. The quarantine zone is now official. Thompson nodded, looking at the tactical display showing Earth's true defensive grid, a network of technology so advanced it could reshape reality itself. And now we wait again, to see who learns from history, and who needs another demonstration. Roberts finished. Exactly. Thompson turned to leave, then paused. Have we decoded that signal from the edge of the galaxy yet? Yes, sir. It appears to be from another civilization, far more advanced than the Dominion. They're calling themselves the Eternal Empire. Thompson smiled. And what do they want? They say they've been watching us. Sir, They say they want to test Earth's strength themselves. Perfect. Thompson looked at the massive display showing Earth's hidden powers. Looks like we'll get to test our new toys again soon. Prepare the time spheres. Let's show them why Earth's warnings should never be ignored. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations watched and waited, knowing they were about to witness another demonstration of why Earth had become the most feared planet in known space. After all, humanity's warning remained the same. Leave us in peace, or cease to exist. Not just in this reality, but in all of them.